We've ranted and raved upon low-quality TV and films long enough. It's time to discuss a flawless masterpiece. We open with our titular hero poking his head around a billboard in hilarious fashion. The way he bobs his head around with wacky sound effects is a subtle way to inform the audience that this is funny. The inspector is on high alert due to ongoing peace within his city, as he understands that there is always a calm before the storm. Truly astute. Velma should take notes. And now would be a good time to point out the phenomenal acting of French Stewart. The man is a living Mandela effect, as he has convinced all children who have watched this film that Matthew Broderick came back to play the role a second time. Inspector Gadget is having difficulty controlling his great gadget powers. This is a perfectly placed setup for his arc that will pay off beautifully later on.
And speaking of crime,
those effects are special. Alongside Gadget is his trusty dog Brain. Disney has provided a cute puppy for you to gaze upon.
Now give them your money.
The boredom of peace has caused Gadget to take the unwarranted action of pulling over this old woman, despite her not having broken any laws. This is symbolic of the real-world corruption that poisons the minds of many once lawful police officers. May they watch this film and realize the parallels, so that they may endure their own character arcs, similar to the inspectors. During the chase, we also get our first full look at the Gadget Mobile, and my goodness, what an upgrade from the first film. The livery is truly stunning. After another hilarious glitch gag, Inspector Gadget arrests the old woman, and we get a title sequence on the same level of Bo Welch's The Cat in the Hat. 2003 was a wild year for film. Penny shows up. Then Gadget gets inspected by Baxter in order to resolve his glitchy issue, to which he is assured that a solution is underway. The conversation gets cut short when the chief of police arrives to reveal that the victim of the earlier unlawful arrest was in fact his mother. This is the first of many great twists and turns that this movie will bring to the table. When we see the mother in jail, she is instructing the other inmates on how to properly kill a man. This is peak subversion. We later cut to Riverton Prison, where it is revealed that the dastardly Claw has made his escape. Horrifying. Claw retreats to an abandoned bowling alley, where he assembles his various henchmen. Tony Martin does an outstanding job acting as Claw by portraying the villain as differently as possible to the way that Rupert Everett did it. During this scene, Claw reveals his new sinister plan to steal
$5 trillion
from the Federal Reserve Bank. The dude has some high aspirations, especially for 2003. It's rare to find villains who are this ambitious nowadays. He explains that his plan will come to fruition within 10 days. So that is our ticking clock. We then cut to a police assembly, where the Riverton police reveal their secret project to help them stop Claw once and for all. G2, a female version of Inspector Gadget, only she's fully automated and better than him in every way. This is diversity casting done right. The inspector is delighted at the prospect of having a partner, but is devastated to learn that not only does she work alone, but she will also be taking the Claw case off of his hands. This is the kind of tragedy that She-Hulk desperately needed to endure. Penny is unamused by Gadget's demotion, so she makes him ignore it, and proceeds to feed Gadget some clues as to where he can find Claw. Gadget passively goes along with her instructions, because, like all good heroes, he surrounds himself with gifted prodigies who are far more talented and smarter than he is, despite the fact that he has more power and experience. Inspector Gadget could be considered a precursor to modern storytelling. The clues lead the pair to a bar, and the two decide to inspect it on two fronts. Gadget infiltrates the bar with a disguise, while Penny and Brain sneak around the outside. The infiltration goes awry and leads to a fight, as all good bar scenes should. Gadget is in deep trouble, but thankfully G2 arrives to save the day.
I went undercover. Follow up on a valuable lead concerning where's Clawabouts. Claw's whereabouts.
Comedy.
Gadget makes another attempt at teaming up with G2, but to no avail. However, she is swooned by his bumbling nature. Later, Gadget peeps on G2, and confesses to the Gadget Mobile that he does have feelings for her, but he doesn't want to make a move because he feels inferior to her, as she is the newer, more efficient model. However, Gadget Mobile is a proper wingman and bro, so he gives Gadget a confidence-boosting pep talk.
A few extra miles look good on a player, and you are a player, G. You are tricked out with more factory extras than the Batmobile. Just sure that it's all good under the hood, alright?
I have no idea what you just said.
We could all use a friend like Gadget Mobile. G2 encounters some ne'er-do-wells and undergoes a fight scene with... like
this. Oh, no!
creative choreography. You won't find a fight scene like this anywhere else. G2 is prepping to wrap up these heinous henchmen. However, Inspector Gadget interferes in hopes of assisting her, but only gets in her way and allows the criminals to escape. And due to his interference, Gadget is demoted to scrubbing toilets, which proves to be a difficult task. A good hero always starts out with great flaws that can be mended over time. Ray Palpatine could learn a thing or two. Gadget Mobile makes an epic diss on Star Trek fans.
If you see anything suspicious, you let me know.
You mean like a Trekkie with a girlfriend?
So take that. There's some subtle product placement. Then Claw's cunning cohorts manage to trick Inspector Gadget and plant a devious device on him that puts his free will at the mercy of Dr. Claw. Dr. Claw toys with Gadget's body and makes it very difficult for him to eat his McDonald's. Then the humiliation escalates as Gadget is forced to ruin a science fair while Claw's minions steal a laser for their heist. His heroic downfall is as tragic as when Luke lost his hand to Vader. To make matters worse, Inspector Gadget gets fired from the police force as a result of this stunt. Penny is sad. However, sadness is nothing compared to the power of a cute little puppo. Aw, just look at him. Look at the puppy do the cocaine. We get a montage of Gadget trying to find a new job, while Claw grows his strength and Penny does things. Claw aims to finalize his plans by stealing a giant ruby. We get some tasteful meta humor.
Notice anything suspicious about those musicians?
Aside from the fact that the music doesn't match the instruments they're playing.
This movie is truly ahead of its time. Claw then appears at the party with his goons to steal the ruby.
Remember, no rushing.
G2 attempts to stop him, however Claw counters her with a comedically large magnet, and he gets away. As a result of her failure, G2 is punished with
Permanent deactivation.
That is pretty harsh, but that's how it be sometimes. You'd be surprised by how many cops get the death sentence for failing to catch criminals. G2 then shows more character development than the Terminator, and actually manages to shed a tear. This leads to her and Gadget having a moment.
Thank you. But there's nothing you can do.
Very romance. Penny gets kidnapped. Later, Gadget saves G2 from her deactivation and confesses his love to her. Very bold. The two then finally team up in order to save Penny. Claw then reveals his secret weapon, which is a super laser
That will freeze time within the entire city.
Thankfully, the Gadget Mobile is epic and outruns the laser before Gadget and G2 can get engulfed. The Claw gang begins their heist, however the Gadget gang intercepts. Claw uses Penny as a hostage to escape and leaves his minions to do the fighting. This leads G2 and Gadget to split up, so Gadget can pursue Claw while G2 fights the others. Unfortunately, Gadget's glitches return and hinder him from flying. I don't know why he wouldn't just take the car. It's right there and it's way faster. I mean, this is the ultimate payoff from earlier, because G2 decides to swap chips and bear the burden of his glitches instead. Love wins. The fact that Baxter could have made a second chip for Gadget this whole time is evidence that he's the true villain of this series all along, and no doubt that revelation would have been made had there been a third film. Inspector Gadget then unveils his iconic helicopter hat to track down Claw and expertly evade his missile barrage. G2 battles this auspiciously round-eyed ninja. Claw plays some Xbox. Gadget swaps to a radical scooter. G2 learns the concept of humor, then finishes off the goons.
Looks like this case is about wrapped up. Hey, I just made a joke.
Gadget catches Claw, but gets delayed when Claw sends Penny off in a cart with a bomb strapped to it.
Don't worry, Penny! I'm coming!
Oh no.
There's a Breaking Bad reference. Claw attempts to run over Gadget with his van. However, Gadget finally unveils his true ingenuity and creativity by launching his bubblegum attack, which forces the van to halt in place. It seems the day is saved. However, Claw unveils his secret rocket ship that he always had, and he flies away. But that technically counts as a Gadget win, so they undo the freeze ray and celebrate their victory by receiving medals and making out. We then close out with the iconic song Up 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 by Rose Falcon. And now I believe I have thoroughly proven my point. This is what film perfection looks like. Happy April.